Nobody starts at the finish line. You have to start somewhere. In order for you to get to where you're going, to meet that destination, you can't think that you're going to get there instantly. Welcome to another episode of the Nothing to Something podcast. I'm Mrmindfulminute, where I touch on different topics on different areas of life, or how we could go from a nothing place to a something place. And today what we're touching on is neglection. Sometimes we tend to give so much attention to other things, but we ignore or we neglect some very intricate things that we may find small, right? Minute, so to say. And I get to it later, or it's not that important, it's not that deep. Or at least it's not that deep to me. But how about this? How about when we're the ones getting neglected by someone, right? It can be a relationship with a spouse. It can be a relationship with your kids, with your parents. You could actually be neglected in some type of way, or you could actually be the one that's doing the neglection. And so right now, I'm going to just touch on not only different areas of where neglection can actually happen, but how we can actually change that and go from that place to the place that we would actually like to be. So the first one that we're going to get into is self-neglection. We tend to neglect ourselves in either some of the most major ways, but also some of the most minor detailed ways. And, from my expertise, what I've been noticing is sometimes we tend to neglect our health, right? And me being somebody that has knowledge in health and wellness, neglecting our health, is one of the biggest things that I tend to see happen. Like, I've seen this quote once that said, don't wait until it's time to care about your health to start caring about your health. Because at that point, it's a little too late. And, understand that that's no different than when you have a vehicle. You don't want to wait until it's time for you to actually get something changed on the car and then start giving attention to it. Like, you don't want to wait until, my brakes is bad for me to say, all right, let me check and see if my brakes are bad. By that point, if they are bad and you get in a sticky situation, guess what? It's going to cost you more to actually get it fixed if it breaks than if you actually would have kept up with the maintenance on it. So it's the same thing with our health. When we actually start saying, let me take maybe some little steps, maybe it's drinking more water, maybe it's eating more leafy greens, maybe it's getting a little bit more fiber in our diet, maybe it's instead of piling it on extra heavy, we say, you know what, I'm gonna ease it up a little bit. I'm gonna eat a little bit less. We have to understand that when we start doing these smaller things currently, later on down the line, we get that foresight and we see later, now we don't have some of the issues that maybe other people we know have experienced, or maybe something in our family. And I'm not talking about something that's hereditary, right? Something that's genetic. But what I am talking about is things that we have actual control over. We have control over what we put in our mouth. We have control over that. Now, obviously, we may not have control over the resources that we have, but we do have control over what we choose to say we will eat or not eat. It's literally up to us. And so when we start doing the work and we start making those small changes, right? It's a small accomplishment, but guess what? It is going to make a major achievement later on, because now there's going to be something that we are not having to deal with because we gave attention to it a little earlier on. And so, like, we see it all the time. It may be a family member or a friend that now, oh, they have this and oh, they had that. But did we actually give attention to, am I doing the exact same things that maybe my grandmother did or my mother did? Do I have the same eating habits that they do? Hence, in turn, I'm actually going to end up with the same adverse health conditions that they may have. Now, there's no guarantee on one way or the other, but the probability can change based upon you making these small adjustments. By you saying, all right, I'm going to do a little bit of this. I'm going to stop doing a little bit of that. And I'm not saying making anything major or anything like that. But what I am saying is stop neglecting your health, because it's your life. So, how much can we show care and concern about the welfare of those around us, our friends, our family, maybe our coworkers, our spouses, right? Our children. How much can we actually give concern about their health? We be so sad and, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this has happened to so-and-so. But we have to sit back and ask ourselves, wow, that happened to them. And what am I doing to prevent that from possibly happening to me? Am I doing the very same things? Am I eating the very same things? Do I have the same habits that cause them to have the effect that they have? Am I doing the exact same thing? And now again, I am not saying that there are some things that you just have no control over. What I am talking about is ownership and controlling what you do have control over. What you choose to do or not do or care about your health. Understand, sink or swim when it comes to our health, it's up to us. We have to do the work. So when we actually take the time to do the work, we actually start to see how we get the results that we want, right? So again, some of those steps that we could actually take for better health, and I'm not talking about fitness, because health and fitness are two different things. So when we start talking about our health, when we want to actually go from a nothing place to a something place, we want to maybe drink more water, right? That's the basics. Maybe eat healthier, more green vegetables. That's some of the basics, right? Maybe even getting more sleep, right? Neglecting sleep. Sleep deprivation is very real. It can put you in a situation that you don't want to be in. You get a lot of brain fog, right? So understanding, maybe getting more sleep, right? Maybe saying, I'm not going to eat as much as I normally do. It could just be, I'm going to scale back on eating sweets all the time. I'm not going to eat as many sweets as I used to eat. I'm not going to drink as many sodas. I'm popping back a soda every single day. You know what? I'm going to scale it back to maybe every other day. And I ain't telling you what to do. And, unless you actually get coached by me, right? But what I'm saying is some small steps, right? Small accomplishments to the bigger goal, right? And so maybe doing little things like that. So now, what is another aspect of our lives that we tend to neglect? We tend to neglect our relationships with our kids. How serious that actually is. Understand that people that love you unknowingly mimic the things that you do. Why? Because they love you. They see the things that you're doing, and it makes them want to do it. Because with our kids, wow, mom or dad is doing it, or auntie or uncle is doing it, right? Because your kids don't necessarily have to be someone you birthed. It could be somebody you adopted or somebody you took in and things like that. So, all right, they're doing it. My guardian is doing it. I'm going to do it. So sometimes we neglect giving them that extra love and care and consideration or time. We neglect that. We neglect having communication with them, talking to them regularly. And I'm not talking just the basic, hey, how's your day? Hey, how was school? Because a lot of times with kids, what they tend to do is, right, they'll just say, oh, it was cool. Or especially with this online school, it's simple. You ain't got to worry about no, for the most part, you don't have to worry about physical bullying and things like that happening, but you can still get the vague, basic answers. And so what I'm saying is, why not spend a little extra time with them? Why not maybe go into their room or offer them, hey, come downstairs, let's watch a TV show together. Something that you and them both like. What I noticed with a lot of kids that I talk to or mentor and things like that, they tend to, one of the first things that they say that, man, I wish that I did more stuff with my parents. I wish that we talked a little more. I wish that, some of the things that we spoke about, they actually listened to it and it wasn't just so dismissed all the time, because I feel as though I don't have a voice. One of the easiest ways to make your children feel neglected is make them feel as though they don't have a voice when they come to you. So why would they actually want to talk to you if every time that they say something, you always shut them down? Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, no, I don't know why you feel that way. What are you talking about? I'm explaining it to you. You're not listening. And sometimes because our children cannot reprimand us, we can't get in trouble, so to say, when it comes from them to us. It's usually we're the disciplinaries, but they can't discipline us. But what tends to happen is their voices tend to get unheard. Their voices tend to get neglected. And so, we have to make sure that we're giving that proper time and attention to give them not only a listening ear, but also attentive heart. We have to understand, yes, everybody receives love differently. But so when the last time you said something encouraging to your child? When the last time you spoke something positive into their life? How often do you let them know not only, oh yeah, you're beautiful and you're handsome and you're good at this or you're good at that? When was the last time you actually said to them, that you're great no matter if you accomplish something or not? That you're great no matter if you didn't pass that test or if you did pass that test. It doesn't make you. You're great no matter what. Understand that, we have to have that open communication with them, right? We have to, sometimes we got to actually physically put our hands on them, give them a hug, rub their back, joke around with them. Like I do it with my daughter all the time. I'm always actually playing around with her. I probably play with her a little bit too much, right? But, the thing about it is she knows and could not only hear the love that I have for her, but she can actually feel it because I'm actually interacting with her physically. So I don't neglect her physical needs of physical interaction because I actually am doing this with her. So we can't neglect our children by, one, not listening to them, not giving them a space where they can actually speak how they feel freely, because we have to understand we can never be upset at somebody expressing how they truly feel inside. We may be disappointed, but don't be upset with somebody expressing how they truly feel. And we tend to put that onto our kids where we dismiss how they truly feel inside. And so that makes them clam up and they don't want to open up. And so now you find yourself prying all the time, you know. So another thing that we actually want to make sure that we're doing to go into that, from that nothing to something place with not neglecting our children, is physically putting our hands on them in a loving way, showing that care, showing that love. You know, all children are different, right? But that doesn't mean that you should not actually do it. It doesn't mean that you can't give them a hug. So another thing that we could actually do, giving them the proper discipline, right? All children are different, but we don't want to neglect actually disciplining them just because, oh, well, I don't want to do this with my kid, or this used to happen to me. Don't allow how you were raised to dictate how you're going to raise them. Now, I ain't telling you how to raise your kids. What I'm saying is what worked for your parents or your guardian for you may not work for your child. So you have to find a way that's actually going to work for them so they don't feel neglected. Because what tends to happen is when we don't give them a measure of discipline, they start to feel neglected and loved because they like, well, my parent, my guardian, they kind of let me do whatever I want. So I start to feel like, I guess they don't care. I'm going to just do whatever I want because they don't care what I do anyway. They don't, I don't get disciplined for it. And, kids tend to have that, that thought process. And it's not saying that, what they're feeling is real, but that's just how they tend to feel. Something else that, we want to make sure we are actually not neglecting, right? We don't want to neglect our spouses, right? If you're in a relationship with somebody, you don't want to neglect what it is that they want, what it is that they need. We be so focused on all the things that we're covering. Oh, I'm covering, making sure that this is good. Or I make sure that that's good. I make sure that this is good. Okay, cool, sweet, that's what's up. But ain't nobody tripping off of what you are doing. What they tripping off of is what you're not doing. So, we have to not only ask them, but we have to also ask ourselves, what is it that I am not doing? Because I may be covering a lot of areas in the relationship, but there may be some areas that I'm really legit. If you look back and you say, man, when the last time I did this? When the last time I actually told, my spouse something positive? When the last time I actually told my spouse, how much I cared about them? When the last time I told them thank you for something? When the last time I told them sorry for something that I did? When the last time, we showed real remorse? Or sometimes it could just be something as simple as when the last time I actually gave them some type of physical contact. Because understand that the way that we feel loved, it may not be the way that they feel loved. Because there are different love languages, right? Some of the love languages that are out there is, physical touch, right? Quality time, right? Words of affirmation, right? Acts of service, and then there's gifts, right? And so some people feel loved by getting a gift. And then there's some people who could care less about getting a gift. There's some people who really appreciate and feel loved by the words that their spouse actually said to them. And then there's other people who it's like, it don't matter to me, never mind. Then you still have, physical contact. There's some people who just thrive off of physical contact, like their spouse touching their hand, rubbing their back, rubbing their feet, having some, holding them in bed, whatever physical contact is, that just makes them feel like, oh man, I'm loved, I'm wanted, right? And then there are others that are like, I don't really care about holding hands. I really don't care about cuddling. I really don't care about any of those things. And then you still have quality time. Some people really enjoy quality, and understand what quality time is. Not just we're around each other, because you could be around somebody all day long and that is nothing quality about that. But are y'all having deep conversation? Are y'all laughing together? Are y'all watching TV shows and interacting, talking about it together? Are y'all having quality time together so y'all can actually show that love? Because some people really thrive off of quality time and it makes them feel loved. And then there's others that's like, that don't make me feel loved. And then again, you still have the words of affirmation. Some people really, really value when their spouse just says, man, oh, you look pretty today. Oh, you smell good today. Or, oh, I like your haircut. Oh, I like your glasses. Or I like this. Or I like that. That makes people feel loved. And then again, there are some people where that doesn't do anything. So understand the love language of your spouse, the person that you're with, that they can actually feel the love that you actually want or you have for them inside of you. Let them know that by their love language and doing it. Because giving them what it is that you want, unless they are the same as you. If you're a physical touch person and they're a physical touch person, guess what? It's going to be easy for you to be a physical touch person. But if you're a physical touch and they are a affirmation person, it might be a little difficult for you, because that's not how you want love. And so we automatically tend to revert to what we want and not to what they want. And so when we start looking at what we're not doing and giving them what they want and not what we want, and we have to, again, sometimes we just got to ask the question, right? And it doesn't matter how long you've been with this person. You could have been with this person for 6 months. You could have been with this person for 16 years. Guess what? These are some of the things that we tend to neglect. And so, another area that tends to get neglected is our relationships that we have with our friends. Sometimes we think that the friendship that we have, there's no type of maintenance work that we actually need to do about it. Oh, well, we're cool. We talk on the phone, this, that, and the third. I'm straight, they straight. Oh, that's my friend. But understand, how often do you fellowship with this person? How often do you spend time talking to them on the phone and asking them like how they're feeling? What's going on in their life? Do their kids refer to you as auntie or uncle? These are a lot of things that we tend to neglect. We tend to neglect to find out what's really going on in our friends' lives. We be so on the basic surface level stuff, and it's just like, oh well, no, they straight, they cool, but are they really? Are we really finding out what's going on in our friends' lives, or are we just neglecting it to we have a good time together? We talk on the phone every now and again. And then again, I'm not saying that you need to talk to this person every single day. You don't have to. But what I am saying is the quality of the friendship is based upon the effort that you put in. So if there are a lot of efforts you're putting in, guess what? There are not things being neglected. But if there's not a lot of effort you're putting into the friendship, guess what? There are going to be a lot of things neglected. And yes, we all have families. We all have jobs or things that we have to do. There's a lot going on in our lives, right? But if we want to address some of the things that are neglected, we have to make sure that we're not neglecting our friendships. Because how bad would you actually feel if your friend did something to themselves and you just like, wow, I don't know where that came from. You didn't really know what was going on in their life. And so really talking to your friends and really understanding, and having that deeper conversation. And, if that's your friend, if that's truly your friend, you should be able to not only express yourself to them, but also allow them to express themselves to you also. So these some of the steps and tips that we can actually take. Some of the things that we are actually neglecting is our relationship with ourselves, caring about our health, our relationship with our kids, our relationship with our spouses, and our relationship with our friends. Some of the 4 things that tend to get neglected, that we could go from a nothing place to a something place. Now, it's time for one of my moments that I actually had was a time when I used to drink alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol in a few years now, but back when I used to drink alcohol, I was drinking with my friends, and we were just at a party, just having a good time and things like that. And somebody knocked on my friend's door that I was at for another person that was at the party. And so, I was just one of those people that I drank, and I was like the angry drink, right? But then I also get emotional. So they knock on the door, yo, is E there? And I'm like, oh, what they come looking here for E for? They want some trouble. They want some drama. Oh, so live here. E don't even live here. and my man come up like, yo, chill. Everything is cool. I'm like, no, it ain't cool. And so they like, yo, get your man. I'm like, no, somebody better come get you. It's about to get on right now. I'm amped because I got the alcohol in me, and I just was on that type time years ago. But here's the crazy thing. Somebody was like, yo, come Vic, you need to drink some water, get that out your system. And mind you, it's pouring down raining. I said, no, I'm going to be good. I'm going to just sit on the step. They like, sit on the step? They like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sit on the step. I sit on the step in the pouring rain. No lie, legit, for about 10 minutes. I don't know why, but I did. So they come outside, they come get me, and next thing you know, I'm out there. Oh, man, I love y'all, man. Like, this, that, and the third, I do anything for y'all. Like, it went from me being aggressive, and it switched right to me being mad emotional, And so from there, it was just like a whole crazy thing. I was just like, wow. It was at that point that I realized what type of drinker I was. Like, I didn't know what type of drinker I was. I just thought that I drank and that was it. And it's just so crazy because, we find ourselves in situations in life that expose who we are. And if we're not careful, we can actually miss that exposure. So I'm just glad that I was able to see that situation, to see who I actually was. It made me see that I was a very emotional drinker, right? But I don't drink anymore, so I don't even have to worry about getting into that, right? I don't have the, as they say, liquid toughness or something like that. I don't know. They say something like that. I don't know how it's going, but that was my moment, and y'all be good. Remember, you great.
You're in control of how you feel. You're in control. You are the determining factor of your feelings. No one else can control how you feel. Remember, you're in control how you feel. So control your feelings.